Yo, what's up, y'all? Um, I don't know why I come back on live. I was just trying to, I was with my pops and I was just trying to be like, real chill and stuff and really, just look at this whole fight in a way where, I don't want to, I have a lot of respect for Errol Spence and I'm so happy that he took this fight. You know, I'm really, really happy that I'm really happy he took this fight. I'm really happy that Sean Porter took the fight, because a lot of people were real comfortable with just sticking with this whole narrative that Bud was avoiding this dude. And the fight would have never happened, and we would have never known who was really better. Some people legit was cool with just the way things were. Bud over there on his side in top rank when he was there. Spence over here on his side, he beat Danny, he beat Ugas, he beat, all of these guys, a lot of people. And if this doesn't include you, and this is not a shot at Spence or none of that, you know what I'm saying? Because I respect him for taking a fight. But my issue is there are a lot of fans that were cool with things being that the way this just staying the way they were. And because of these narratives being pushed, we would have never gotten this fight. By the time this fight had gotten announced, I already had gave up on this fight. But you guys went on and said that none of these fighters were good. You said that all of these fighters that Bud beat were bums, and you guys were cool with that. You know what I mean? And I'm not speaking for all of y'all, but you guys know who I'm talking about. If that includes you, then you part of the problem. You know what I mean? Hold on, I'm just trying to post this video on Twitter. So with that being said, like, we got to stop this from happening. These are the fights we need to happen. This is a fight we needed to happen, right? We can't keep allowing this to happen. We can't keep running. And I mean for like lightweight. Because it's stopping history. Me being a content creator, I think sometimes we have too much influence. When you're a content creator and you have a voice and you speak to thousands or millions of people, viewers, you have to be responsible for what you say. Because whether you're getting views, you're making money, you have to be responsible. You have to have integrity, because you now have the power to affect what's really going on in this sport. You really do. And I think sometimes we have too much power. Sometimes I think we do. I mean, thinking about it, when this whole Black Prime situation was going on, according to Crawford, he ran up on what's his name, Blue Blood. They said that he ran up on him and was like, "Yo, why are you saying all of this on YouTube about me?" Now I watch Blue Blood's contests here and there. If he has like certain interviews and stuff, I have nothing against him. But these fighters watch our content. You know what I mean? And I don't know what content, I don't know what he said about Crawford that made him feel the way he made him feel. But Blue Blood clearly was an investor in this the Black Prime thing, and when the Black Prime fight happened with David Avenesian, you had all of these people that was disrespecting Bud for taking his fight. And they was making it look like he was just ducking this dude. And it's like, bro, all these guys had harder fights. And I'm not saying that because they were better than Spence. I think Spence would have beat those guys too. But you guys were being disrespectful to the fighters, man. You guys was calling Eggy Kavalaskis a bum. You guys were saying he was a bum. You guys were saying that Sean Porter didn't care anymore. And I know he said that in an interview, like he didn't prepare in the same way. But Sean Porter is also a fighter who he is the fighter. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes he might say things that may not necessarily do. In his mind, he believe he didn't train and prepared enough, but maybe you did prepare enough, and maybe you just lost to the better fighter. Don't go around saying that you didn't train and prepare, because we know how good you are. We know what you're capable of. You just lost to a better fighter. Now, give Sean credit for taking a fight because he didn't have to. But a lot of these fighters that Bud was fighting, he was fighting all the other best fighters in the division that were in PBC, because he couldn't get Danny in there. What's up, Punch Perfect? I see you. Shout out to all you guys that's in here. I see all of y'all, man. He had to do what he had to do. He had to scramble and they had to pick up whoever they could get, man. And, all these people talking bad at you. And then your own promoter is talking bad about you. Your own promoter is acting like you're not worth the money that you want. So you got to deal with all these PBC people. And then you got to deal with your own promoter making you look like you ain't shit. This dude had to deal with a lot. And you're the best fighter, in my opinion. You're the best fighter in our generation. But this is how they treated him. His promoter treated him like shit. And you got these black fight fans that treated him like shit too. Just because they're pro PBC, they treated him bad. They talked bad about him. They made it seem like he was some kind of sucker. For what? For what? What was it all for? Now that the fight is over and he made it look easy as hell, what was it all for? Because if you're a content creator and or if you're a journalist or whatever it is that you do, you're influencing so many people on how they feel. There are people that don't watch this like that, but they go to YouTube and listen to complete strangers, right? And they start believing this person only because it sounds good. And now you have our best fighter. This is our best fighter. And you're talking bad about the best fighter. He's clearly the best fighter. For what? David, thank you. He says, what's up, Wave? I had Crawford winning, but I wasn't expecting it to be this dominant. Do you think Spence was himself tonight? You know what? I really don't know. I think a lot of these guys can be better. I think Spence might have been a little better. I think Fulton the other day could have been a little better. And I'm being honest, man. I ain't trying to push no narratives. I'm not even like I didn't think Spence was gonna win, and I didn't think he would make it to the final bell. Okay, but I'm gonna be honest. He might have been a little better on a different night, but he literally had to fight the one guy that he felt he was going to lose to, or he could have lost to. Somebody said it in the comments earlier. This is the first time he was in a ring with someone that people felt would beat him. This is the first time. So I don't know if he was off. I don't know if it was just a moment and he didn't perform. I don't know if Crawford, I believe I'm only going by what I've seen. And for what I've seen, Crawford was on a different level than Errol Spence Jr. for all of the reasons that we've stated before. I don't think Fulton was at his best, but you know what? When you're off, like let's just say you're jittery, you're a little nervous and stuff like that. Everybody was saying Spence looked nervous, whether you're drained. At the end of the day, we're not basing you off what you may or may not be. We're basing it on the moment and what we saw. I think Fulton having in this week was a great example of that because, yeah, maybe he was a little nervous. Yeah, he was a little off. Like his stance was a little off. Maybe he didn't fight for a little bit. He was going to go to 126. Maybe something was off. But let's say this. Going over to another area and flying out there and being in a different environment is part of being great. It's part of your greatness. And for him to do that, I give him much respect because most American fighters just don't do it. So I give him respect for doing it. But let's just say he was off that night. It doesn't matter. All right? There's guys that are great and there's guys that are special. And the special guys will always be ready. This moment, not drinking, not getting involved in stuff, this is the moment that separates you from the great guys and the generational greats. This moment here, you can be elite, but this guy, they talking about him and Floyd right now. They're talking about people from different eras now. Before that, they was talking whether or not Crawford was the best in this generation. Now they just jumping around talking about all these other people. What makes you special are these moments where you have to get outside of your comfort zone and win big fights. And guess what? I give Errol credit. I gave Errol all the credit in the world when he went over to the UK and beat Kell Brook. But some of y'all was basing all of this stuff too much on, resumes and him being big. Like, dude, anybody could just get on here and just be like, yo, he's a bigger fighter. He's going to win. It takes more than that to be special. You both are welterweights. I told you guys, Crawford's a strong dude. When I seen him do that deadlift in his clothes and his jeans, just walk in the gym and lift 450 or whatever it was as a welterweight, I said, yo, this dude is strong. I knew he could deadlift a lot. I knew that he used to wrestle. And I watched it in his fights. I see him pushing guys off that are aggressive. You guys trying to make Jeff Horn to be like he was some bum just because Crawford beat him. But you acting like when Jeff Horn beat Manny Pacquiao, y'all acting like y'all don't remember Danny Garcia and other fighters calling him out. You guys act like you forget about that. Everybody wanted him until after Bud beat him. And you guys know that and you forget it. But when Bud was in there with this middleweight, because that's what Jeff Horn really was, a middleweight, that's where he finished at. He was in there pushing them all, pick them up, locking them in the clinches. He was showing his strength there. If you can see it, and if we're telling you like, yo, he's mad strong, this is what he's doing. Why do you ignore that and push some kind of narrative that's not like he's fighting nothing but bums? These guys are not bums. They're good fighters. It's just that he didn't fight a PBC guy. If Cal Velasquez, and I've said this before, if Cal Velasquez fought Danny Garcia, how do you know Danny will win? How do you know? They never fought. He never fought any other PBC guys. You don't know. Yeah, he hurt Bud. Yeah, Bud went down. But how do you know he's a bum? Why? What makes him a bum? Why? Because he's from some place you never heard of? Why? Dude can box. Dude got mad power. Crawford got caught. The voice, thank you. He said, Bud is the man. I expected KO, but I was amazed at how he achieved it. Keep up the great work. Yourself, Wave. Love your content. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Um, these fighters were good fighters, man. They all were tricky. What I learned about Bud is Bud came out tonight as a southpaw and he stayed there. I told you guys leading up to this fight, there's a moment in every Crawford fight where he says, okay, I'm going to fight for real. What happens when he starts the fight with that attitude? You saw it tonight. We saw the real Terrence Crawford tonight. All this time, all these moments where he got hit in the head and got hurt and buzzed is when Crawford wasn't even being serious. He's going 3-4 rounds fighting as a righty. When the reality is now when he has to get off the couch, I mean not get off the couch. Now that he has to get up to really fight someone that's most people think can beat him, now he's fighting serious. And now we saw what happened when he really fights serious. Let's not talk more about whether or not Errol was good. Let's talk about what happens when a fighter that is as good as he is take a fight seriously. That's what we saw tonight. You guys were you was being, how do you disrespect a great like that? You know what I mean? That's what makes me mad. Because you guys, you pushed something that wasn't true and you got a lot of people believing it. If you got, if you from Texas and you picked Errol Spence to win, I feel you. That's you. That's how they are. They're gonna stick with their own. We standing by our guy. I respect it. I have New York bias towards some fighters sometimes. It is what it is. Now, I'm a little different because I'm going to always tell you how I feel about a fighter. I don't have any direct connection to any of these people, and I want it to stay that way because I don't want to start changing how I deliver my content based on me knowing people and all that. I don't really want to do that. But if you're from Texas, I understand. If you're from Jamaica, I'm understand. There's Jamaica bias, there's Texas bias. I get it. But some of the other shit is dumb. There shouldn't be a PBC bias. Like, I mean, come on. Are you an employee for them? Like, what the fuck is that? I said this about the other day, but Frank Martin and Keyshawn. Like, how do you just say, like, dude's not even from Texas? I got Keyshawn. Why? I mean, I'm rolling with him because he with Errol. What? Like, is Errol gonna be in there fighting with with Frank? Or is Bud gonna be in there fighting with Keyshawn when they fight? No. That shit is corny. That's corny. I don't respect that. Oh, we gotta go with the crew. Yo, it's a fight. It's a fight. I wish I would sit here and say somebody better because he's cool with a fighter I like. That's corny. It's a fight. It's a one-on-one match. It's not a tag team match, bro. This is crazy. It's crazy. The logic of people. It's a fight. Like, it don't make no sense. It's getting so corny. And I feel like, after this, I can't speak for everybody else because I realize that when it comes to social media in general, they don't even care whether it's true or not. Or people, they don't care about the truth no more. They don't care about logic. It's about my feelings. My feelings. I feel this person's going to win. You know why? I don't have to watch any film study. I don't have to pay attention to any of the details. This is how I feel. So I'm rolling with how I feel because I don't know, something about this fighter makes me feel some way. I don't know. I can't even relate to that shit. Let's use logic, yo. All the film is available for us. All the details are there for us. We can watch these fights. Just watch a few rounds. Like, I see what he's doing with this. This is what I think could work for him. This is what I think could work for Errol. I gave you all the information on Errol as I could to make it as fair as possible. I know we gonna get knocked out, but I'm gonna be fair. This is what he's gonna do. This was a much easier pick, clearly for me, than the Inoue Fulton fight. I was wrong on that one. Well, not really, because I've been back and forth. I didn't think this was really like a hard pick for me. I knew it would be Arrow. I knew it would be Bud by knockout. But I will give you the analysis on what Spence needs to do exactly to win this fight. And guess what? He failed in every area. You shouldn't be this wrong if you have a voice. You know, you shouldn't be this wrong. But if you're this wrong, fine. But if you're this wrong and you're pushing a narrative that this fighter was ducking, that's crazy. That's crazy. Keith Thurman didn't want to fight him. You know, even Manny Pacquiao, Bob Arum said himself he didn't want to put him in there with Bud. He knew how dangerous Bud was. You don't want to do that to a legend. You know, and that's John, not to take anything from Manny Pacquiao. We know what he's done. But come on, man. Let's start with the narratives. They pushed so many narratives for 5 years to make this guy look like he was a chump. For what? What did you get out of it? Some views? Like, what are you doing? People are going to believe you. Yo, did you see the crowd tonight? Did you see the crowd tonight? Like, come on. I mean, even I was surprised. Yes, I was surprised by how quickly Bud did it. You know, I knew by the second round, like, okay, this is over. But Bud made it look like it was a mismatch. He made Spence look basic. And that's what he's done throughout his whole career. This is the first time we actually seen him serious for a full fight. He's a dangerous person. And you know what? I don't even want to, like, I'm not even comfortable with saying, give you a name of someone that I think, like, I like Boots. I brought him up in the video I did with my dad just now. I love Boots, but there's not been a fight. Even the Villa fight. The Villa fight was a great performance. It's just too soon. I need something. There's levels, and Ennis is more athletic. Like, people were saying athleticism with Crawford. Ennis is very, very good. And you know what? It's boxing at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's boxing. But Ennis is more athleticism, and Crawford is more skill to me, and athleticism. You know what I mean? I don't want to see that fight only because I feel like Ennis, I want that to happen to him. You know, if he gets knocked out, I don't know. You know, I'm good with Ennis fighting one of those younger guys. I don't even want to see that fight. I don't know who he should fight. I want him to fight Jamel Charlo, but Jamel's fighting Canelo. So I don't know who he should fight. Go to 154. Beat Tim Tszyu. I don't know, but yo, maybe I didn't think about this until after I got off the video with my dad, but I said, yo, maybe he should go to Australia. Maybe Tim Tszyu can offer him a bat. I mean, Tim got to be pissed off anyway because of the Jamel Charlo situation. Yo, maybe Tim Tszyu can offer him the bag to come to fucking, I'm sorry for the cursing, man. Come out to Australia to fight him. Maybe we can get that. But you know, Crawford is gonna want to get paid at this point. But I don't see anybody beating him, man. And I'm not even trying to be on no fanboy stuff. I don't see nobody beating him. Period. I don't see none of these dudes beating him. I thought Spence had the best chance of beating him right now. And you saw how that looked. I mean, bro, start giving respect for people that's putting up content and doing the work. You know, stop with these narratives. Do the boxing community a favor and stop. Yo, and even if it's your favorite channel, even if it's me, yo, somebody's pushing some bullshit, shut it down. Leave those comments. Let them know, right? Because we got to stop supporting and stop, and another thing, like, you got content creators that spend all their time trying to expose other channels. Stop showing them hate. Show the channels that's doing dope things love. Stop putting more light on people that's coming up with bullshit. I mean, do what you want to do, but if you think things are going to get better, push to make the good content creators, guys that's really doing a homework, educating the YouTube community. Give them more light, give them more shine. That's why I love shouting out channels that I love, because I think I don't talk bad about any channel, yo. You'll never hear it. I know you guys try me to do it in the, I'm sorry, that alcohol is kicking in right now. But yo, you guys know what I'm saying. Errol took a beating. I think the stoppage took way too long. You guys heard me on the live commentary. That fight didn't need to go too long. I know a lot of these fighters want to go out on these shield. We saw what happened with Wilder in a situation with Tyson Fury. I mean, I think this was just too much. I honestly thought that, even watching it, I thought Crawford kept taking his foot off the gas certain periods. But I mean, it was a slaughter, and I think certain fights just need to be stopped. I know the ref tried to do the right thing. I know Derrick James tried to do the right thing. I know Crawford tried to do the right thing. But yo, it was just too much, man. And I don't think Spence is ever going to be the same. And I mean that simply because of all of it. If we take everything together, we're talking about all the things that fight there. You take a beating like that, it went for too long. He's taken some clean, hard shots since the second round, and it just never really stopped. Like, it was just too long, man. That was a really bad beating. I was getting pissed off for the last 3 rounds or so. Like, I was legit mad. I wasn't enjoying the fight no more. I wasn't enjoying the fight. I didn't enjoy that. I didn't. All it did was make me upset. All it did was make me upset as it went on, because it's just, my man, he's losing the fight, and you want to give him the chance to score like a crazy knockout. That would be crazy, if you catch a one. But he's taking too much punch. Is it worth it, man? You already made your money, man. You can run it back at 154. You have the rematch clause. It's not going right. You have another opportunity. You're feeling better at the extra weight. But now you just went longer and longer by taking a beating. And you keep talking about weight. My man, this guy is a strong fighter. Crawford looked drained at moments too, like leading up to the fight. Crawford even said it himself. Yo, I was a little drained too. It's hard coming down at 147. You guys put everything on sides. Like, this guy's skilled. Let him fight another day. The longer the fight went, the worse it got. I don't know. I think Arrow might think it over. I think, and me and my dad was talking about that. I think, right away you want to say you want to take the rematch clause and all that, and that's cool. But he's gonna have time off, talk to his family, talk to his team. He's gonna have the time off, and maybe he just say, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. Maybe he does, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think it was too much. That's my opinion. There's good stoppages, and I think it could have been stopped a little sooner. I think when it was stopped, I think it was like the absolute, like, this is like, okay, this is getting crazy now. You know what I mean? So somebody mad in the comment. I ain't gonna even give him no like because I ain't worried about it. It might be somebody that lost a lot of money tonight. Yeah, Young Hollywood, I agree with you. Round 7. I think round 7 was around the round where I thought, like, all right, this is good. You know what I mean? This is good. We've seen enough. We've seen enough. You know. Nah, I got off live and I came back. Who bet 170K on Spence? Somebody that was here in the chat here. Was it someone here or someone like famous? I seen someone here that said they spent 8K betting. Oh, you know what? I didn't see any large numbers of anyone betting on Spence except like the celebrities. You know, I seen celebrities. I mean, listen, if you got 170K to bet on Spence, I'm sure it's not affecting them. Let me just say that. Or bet on a fight in general. If you have 170,000 to bet on that kind of like on a fight, then I'm sure it's not going to hurt you if you lose. You know, thinkers think, yeah, exactly. I agree 100%. Everything he landed hurt him. Even when they were trading jabs, every jab backed him up. You got to remember, Spence's jab has always been a problem for everybody. It's always been a problem, but it wasn't here, you know. And you know, one thing that I brought up, and it was one of the key points that I brought up before the fight that I've never heard anyone say. I'm sure it's been said, but you know, I brought up a point before the breakdown that they don't have experience in fighting southpaws, and I mean like their best wins in their resume don't involve southpaws. You know what I mean? So part of the reason why I picked Bud is because he's always been able to adapt to whoever he's facing. I've seen him adjust in so many different ways, and I've seen him fight in so many different styles. You have all these different angles. I've seen him fight in a good inside game, show inside game. I've seen him display so many different things. Errol has not been in a ring with a southpaw professionally since Chris Van Heerden, who is really not that good. You know what I'm saying? He's not no world beater or anything like that. Um, it was just one of those fights that he had on the way up. I think it showed the lack, like there was levels. Like Crawford fought as a southpaw, and he had every advantage. You know, and I know Crawford didn't have a lot of those fights neither, but that was one thing people ignored. And I've heard a lot of analysis on the fight, and I heard a lot of analysis of people that had Spence winning the fight, and no one would really bring up that key factor. They always brought up size and nothing more. They brought up size, they brought up durability. I was like, how do you go from fighting Heerden to going to Crawford? You know what I mean? At least Crawford can make some kind of adjustments when he's dealing with your style. Whereas Spence is like, this is what you're getting. Spence is a fighter that likes to fight on the outside, includes distance. And when it's working, he'll continue to use it. But when things are like, when he starts to get counter, I noticed that Spence just changes it and starts becoming a bully. That's the kind of fight he wants to fight all the time. And he tried to do that. It just didn't work out for him because Crawford wasn't letting him get his way. And then he had no other plan to go to. You know, there was no other backup. It was nothing else he can do. He did as much as he can do. You know, Spence won a lot of fights because of the fact that he was just so relentless. He fought some good fighters. Um, but outside of Sean Porter, no one could really match his energy. And I keep saying this so many times. And now he fought someone that only can match your energy, but that can outbox you and hurt you. Punching power. I said this before the fight as well. When you're normally stopping guys by overwhelming them versus someone that's stopping guys from actually hurting them with very few punches. I kept hearing people about Spence and his power. But if he is high volume and the other fighter is knocking guys out without all that volume, it's clear to me that this guy's a harder puncher. Now, the response to that was always, well, he's fighting bums or he's fighting guys that are washed up. That was a narrative that wasn't true. It never was true. But people were okay with that because they didn't expect them to actually fight each other. You know what I mean? They didn't expect it to happen. They thought the negotiations would fall apart. This is why I give Errol a lot of credit for taking that fight. He took the fight. He agreed to it. That sells a lot. He didn't have to do it. To get on the phone with Bud and make the fight happen says a lot about him. So I have to give him credit because if he didn't do that, people would have settled with whatever narrative they heard and they were pushing. Dirty Red, thank you. He says, Bud displays superior skill set in every dimension of boxing. And crazy part, Spence isn't a scrub. Bud is just that great. Yes. Yeah. We witnessed greatness, man, tonight. And I'm honored and humbled to even be able to cover this fight. And I'm humbled to even have this many people here supporting me and wanting to listen to me while covering this fight. There are people here that don't have access to the fight. And there's people here that do have access, but they rather listen to me than listen to the commentators that's on the television. So, I'm honored to even, get that kind of respect from you guys and support and all the donations, man. Thank you for supporting me, man. Like real talk, like, man, this makes me feel so good, like you doing something you love. And like I love sport, I love boxing, man. I love a lot of other things too, but I love boxing. And I'm just the fact that I can like make money just coming on here and talking, you know, these guys in the comments sometimes they try to get here and be a little disrespectful and stuff. But it's like, man, I've had like champions respect me. I can never tell like these guys that come on here sometimes, I don't need your support because I got you guys, my subscribers, my supporters. I got real fighters that I've met that was mad respectful. I that's all I need. I really don't need a cosign from any random person and be like, oh, you don't know what it's like to be here. I don't need it. I'm good with what I got from real fighters that really been in there, guys that are undisputed. You know what I mean? I don't need your cosign. But I still am very humble and I'm always going to keep being as respectful. I know there have been times that I've been a little bit out of line. I've ranted about certain fighters and I've apologized for that. I've apologized to not Deontay Wilder to his face, but I apologized to him on the channel because even though I felt like he was the part of the major reason why that fight with Joshua didn't happen back then, I don't like the fact that I tore him down some. You know, I I don't like that because that's not the kind of person I am. And I am happy that he was able to do great things that are really hard to do. He was able to beat boxers that are more skilled than him. or almost beat boxers that's more skilled from him. So I apologize to that man simply because I guess I had a higher standard for him. And just because he didn't meet my standard as a boxer, I shouldn't be tearing him down. So I apologize for him. I apologize to anyone else that might have got mad based on what I said. But I just kind of just like to tell it how it is. And I'm always going to continue to do that because that's the right thing to do. I don't want to, I know people get influenced by what we say, and I know a lot of you respect me, but I don't want to be steering you in the wrong direction based on my own personal feelings or insecurities or biases and stuff. You know what I mean? I try to keep it fair. I have biases, but I try not to overexert them, or put them on you and stuff. You know what I mean? Nah, I'm cool. Um, but shout out to you guys, man. I love you guys. It's we're coming up on 10 years. I was doing it at a time where there was nobody on YouTube and we weren't making no money from this. I was getting like $100 on YouTube. When I started monetizing, I was getting $100 uh like every couple of months. And I was putting out like three, four, sometimes certain weeks, 3, 4, 5 videos in one day because I had a lot more time on my hand and I was younger. So it'll be 10 years. We're coming up on my 10-year anniversary. Um, and I want to start it with starting a Patreon channel. I'm gonna start a Patreon channel, and I'm planning on doing film study, but showing the film on there. And I also am gonna be more personable on my Patreon for my supporters on there because I like a lot of things outside of boxing. And I think when I dip into that sometimes, you guys want to hear more of it. I love movies, I love music. And people love when I do breakdowns on other things outside of boxing. So I want to do more things on that. And plus, I want to dig more into boxing. But for 10 years, I know it's a long time. I know a lot of people did a lot more in less time. And that's cool. I salute them. I support everyone that's doing their thing. But I was really on here when there was no other options. Wasn't getting paid. And I was just putting out content just for the love of the sport. And I was doing film study back then and educating myself just for fun. I wasn't getting paid. So I really love this, man. I'm not trying to push nothing. I just love it just because I love boxing. You know what I mean? Uh, but I'm just happy for what I saw tonight. And I think as fans, I think we need to start pushing that. Like when I look at light heavy, or I'm sorry, not like lightweight, yo, we shouldn't be, let's stick to these standards. Like you guys could fight each other. You just choose not to. But a lot of you guys could fight each other. So we got to respect the fighters. I had stopped talking about Spence and Bud for a little bit because I wanted to put more energy towards the fighters that are actually fighting. And sometimes I get low views on talking about fights that no one really seems to care about. But I want to give them credit for even taking the challenge and talk about fights that are being made instead of just talking about the same 2, 3, 4 fighters in every video that I've done. I've seen some of these channels talking about this fight and they went months with just talking about these two and nothing else. And they pushing narratives. I've seen channels like smaller channels or guys that's on the come up where I'm like, somebody tell me to check out the channel. I go in there and the whole channel is talking about Arrow and Bud and negotiations, and they don't even know how to make nothing else. That's not a real boxing channel. That's someone that's just scamming and scheming on boxing. You know what I mean? So we got to do better in pushing towards these fights, like in lightweight. like in middleweight, we can't let these guys pass on, because if this fight could be made off a phone call, I'm gonna have the same standard for everybody else, man. What's your excuse? What's your excuse? If you playing games, then we ain't gonna support you. We don't need to make content about you. We don't need to talk about you because you playing games. You just ain't taking shortcuts. You know, Fury versus Usyk should be happening. You know, it should be happening. That's it. This is a heavyweights, man. Historical. You you make it happen. But if you want to cut corners and fight MMA fighters and stuff, having crossover fights, if you're about your bag, then do it. But that's not acceptable, man. We're not gonna praise you if you taking shortcuts, man. And that goes for anybody. I'm just giving certain examples. Capri Sun, thank you for donating. He says Bud deserves a Chris credit, and no excuses for Arrow really made me respect both. I've been respecting Arrow all the way since this fight got made, or maybe a little bit before that. I mean, I think a lot of times, and I don't want to make excuses because he said things publicly I ain't like, especially when you go in public about, purses and stuff. But what I will say is they made the fight happen. Him and Bud, they both made the fight happen. So I respect him. Word. Like, I respect him taking this fight. And he might have been scared. He might have been scared. He might have been drained. I don't know. Maybe he might have just been nothing. But all I know is that he agreed to take this fight. I don't need to know any of the details, but he agreed to take it, and he ain't make no excuses after he lost. He went up there and sat on that podium with his face swelling and all that and told it how it is. I respect that. What's up, All Strong Wave? I told you yesterday on your live show that Bud Victoria, I'll give you props. He is special. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for joining up early. You know what I mean? Yeah. So shout out to everyone that's here, man. Shout out to all the subscribers, man. I see a lot of y'all here. Johnny Ringo, Charles, all around strong, 1 foot out the door. Punch quote, man. Some of y'all been in here for your deflex, Deuce, Malik. Some of y'all been in here for a long, long time. Familiar with a lot of y'all. Centurion. I don't want y'all to feel like if I skipped your name, but I'm just reading names that I see all the time. Pepino. Shout out to everybody that's on here, man. I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow. I'll be back live tomorrow. But I just wanted to. I've been really, really busy, and I've been going through a lot, man. My grandmother passed away a couple months ago. My brother-in-law recently passed away, like 2 weeks ago. I'm working. I've been. I got my uncle's, life support. I got stuff going on outside of boxing, but I've been doing my best to come on here and make content. I think when I don't make a lot of content, I think a lot of times I'm just sitting around watching boxing, trying to learn and try to like understand how these fights are gonna go. And if I don't feel all the way comfortable, it makes me a little bit nervous about making a pick, So sometimes I don't make content because I don't feel like I know enough to speak on it. Even if I've seen the fighters before, I try to be right as possible. But I do go through things. I do work a lot. And I still always find time to be on here. You know what I mean? No matter what, I prioritize this channel. I would like to get to a point where I can retire in a couple years and just make content full time. That's my goal. That's my goal. I really want to be able to do that. I don't know about like getting hired by a network and stuff. People ask me that all the time. I'm scared of that because I'm scared to not be able to be myself, and I don't want to work for nobody no more. Salute to all the people that's been on networks and it's been a part of that. I shout out Ade the other day. Salute to all those guys that's doing that. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but all I'm saying is that I want to be my own boss and I don't want to work for nobody. I want to be able to tell you guys how I feel. So hopefully I could get to a point, maybe, within the next couple years or so, that I don't have to have a job no more and I can just do this full time and just make content and just be consistent, because I really want to do that, but it's mad hard to do that shit, you know. Shout out to my dad. My dad is mad funny. You see him on here. Sometimes he just be going off about stuff. But my dad is a big supporter of mine. Shout out to my mom, man. I love my mom. I feel like I don't talk about my mom as much, but she watches all the videos and she read all of the comments. So even when y'all be disrespectful, sometimes she be reading that shit. And she get mad, but she read all the comments though. So she definitely be watching my videos and she read all the comments. So shout out to my mom. I love my mom. Shout out to my second mother, my stepmom too. Uh, shout out to my family and shout out to you guys, man. All right, but I'm gonna get some rest, man. I'm tired. I got a little bit of champagne left, so I'm gonna finish that because I don't want it to go bad. I'm gonna finish the champagne. My dad was like, "Make sure you finish this before you leave." So I'm gonna finish the champagne that we popped on the live. I wanted to pop that bottle simply because you know we saw history tonight, and I'm approaching the 10-year mark. So yeah, man, I love it here, man. This is so therapeutic, man. Um, uh, yeah, Charles. Uh, I don't know how we did it before, but they sent me an email, man. Uh, I don't know how to email you. Oh, wait, yeah, well, I'll hit you up. Uh, but shout out everybody in here, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Oh man, I wouldn't get off. I don't want to leave you guys because there's so many of y'all here still. Do y'all have any questions? Uh, y'all got any questions, man? Is it anything you guys want to bring up, man? Shout out to Jamal, man. I want Jamal to get better. I really feel for him, man. I don't like I don't like the slap stuff. Shout out to boxing, Black Fight Friend. I hit him up on the DM the other day. I mean, I ain't gonna talk about what we talk about, but I just want Jamal. I know he's down in Texas. I want them to help Jamal and get him back in order before he completely loses himself. He's going through a lot, and I don't know what happened in the situation with Kalen Plant, but it just seemed like I don't never see him in a good place anymore. And I hope they, I hope he solves his issues before it gets over to a point where he's gonna be broke and he's not gonna be making any money and he's not gonna fight anymore. And I don't want to lose. I don't want him to lose a fight based on him just not being the same anymore. So I wish Jamal the best. Um, I'm a big, those are my guys. The Charles are my guys. I would love, to have a conversation to him. Maybe I'm gonna try to reach out to him directly, on social media. I don't have their numbers anymore. I had Jamel's number, but it's really, really long time. I'm gonna try to reach out to him and, it just to talk. I just want to talk and make sure that brother is in a good space. Because I don't like the stuff with these fighters, especially when they really go and do stuff. I think some of these guys are clowns, but when you go through a divorce, man, that could change you forever. You know, it could change you from forever, and I don't like what's going on with that. You know, I don't like that situation. I want him to get better, just like I've always wanted Broner to get better. You know, always wanted him to get better, but it's just been like bouncing around. I'm not going to talk about any other channel if unless I'm going to be positive. I'm not talking about any other channel. Unless it's positive stuff. What's up, Captain, man? I hope everything is well with you, man. Uh, shout out to you. Shout out to Inoue too. I think Inoue is my number 2. Crawford's my number 1. I just think Crawford, Inoue is right there, right behind him, man. I think it's really between those two at this point. I think Usyk is still right up there too, maybe behind those two. But Crawford's my number one, man. Two division, undisputed, fought and beat another undisputed fighter. I know Inoue won it in 4 divisions, but uh, I think the Errol Spence cemented the number one spot for me. You know, Inoue is dope too. Fulton was a phenomenal boxer, but there's levels, and I think I personally had Errol in a higher space than Fulton. Uh, and that's part of the reason why I think this win was just so much bigger. You know what I mean? But Inoue is my number two. I know some of you are going to disagree with that, and that's fine. I don't see the point of arguing over pound for pound. I tried to do a pound for pound the other day. I was so bored. And I was like, I can't do this, man, because there's people that I think should be on the list that I didn't have room to fit them. I just couldn't fit them. I couldn't squeeze them in. There's a lot of people. You know why I have trouble doing pound for pound lists? Because there's people that I personally feel are the most talented just based on what I like. And there's people that I feel are more accomplished. And when you try to mix the two, it makes things difficult, you know, because it's like this guy got more titles or he won in more divisions, but I still think this fighter that won in one division is better. And that's my personal opinion. And when you try to explain that to a fan of a fighter that he's rated low for these reasons, it's just going to be like a necessary argument. So I tried to do a pound for pound list the other day, and I had like 14 fighters, and I was struggling to deal with like how I would place them, you know? So I don't know, you know? I really don't know, you know? Like this guy Victor Lee is saying that like a new way skill for skill is pound for pound. Okay, to you, bro, to you, that's cool. That's your opinion. All right, but like if somebody says it's Crawford, or if they say it's Usyk or whoever, like it doesn't mean that they know any less about boxing than you do. It's your opinion. They can never fight each other. You know, it's no way we would know, bro. Like people are asking me about Floyd and Crawford. I don't know. They're never gonna fight each other, you know. Um, but Crawford is that guy to me. I think he's the best talent I've seen since Floyd. That's just my personal opinion. you know. And I know that's like it's a lot of guys, but Crawford, I think he's the most talented that I've seen since Floyd. I know there's guys out there that has done more. I know Canelo has done a lot, but it is what it is. Hold on. Yeah, that was just my dad checking in on me. Tell me he made it home. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I, I'm not arguing that. Onu is great. I know he's great. But what am I gonna? I'm not gonna be mad at you because he thinks he's better. You know what I mean? It's good that you think that, man. Good luck to you. Um, you know. Um. All right, guys. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go lay down. I'm getting a little tired. Uh, I got all day tomorrow. I'm gonna get up and relax a little bit, and I'll probably go on and talk more about this fight here. I pretty much said everything. I think I needed to get I guess I had a little bit of anger in me because of the disrespect Crawford has received over the years. But I think I got it all out. So I'm gonna chill, relax. I've got some shows that I'm watching, so I'm gonna get back into that. I'm going to sleep, man. Yeah, please hit the like, thumbs up if you haven't already on your way out. Just everybody here to smash the thumbs up. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. All right, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll be talking more boxing. All right, peace. Good night.